All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're putting on our business detective hats to deconstruct a seriously fascinating case study. We're looking at Milan Sweets, a regional, family-run sweet shop that absolutely transformed into a massive local success story. And honestly, the most mind-blowing part, they pulled off this total neighborhood dominance without a single drop of national corporate marketing. So how exactly does a humble corner shop become a multi-outlet giant? Well, let's find out. Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the anatomy of a local giant, then define their target market, break down the local marketing mix, check out their strengths and growing pains, and finally, unpack their neighborhood strategy. Kicking things off with Section 1, Anatomy of a Local Giant. Now, context is absolutely crucial here. We aren't talking about a massive pan-India brand like Haldiram's. No, Milan Sweets is a hyper-local operation concentrated entirely in Faridabad, Haryana. But you have to look at the sheer scale of what they've achieved within those specific city limits. Operating formerly as Milan Sweets and Snacks Private Limited, they reported a staggering 18.6 crore rupees in revenue for the 2025 financial year. I mean, for a strictly regional player, that is some serious volume. Tracing their timeline reveals a really cool story of steady, deliberate growth. They actually started way back in 1988 as a simple mithai shop, founded by the family of Haryana politician Mulchand Sharma. And they didn't rush to expand. It wasn't until 2014 that they incorporated as a private limited entity to formalize the whole shebang. And by FY25, boom, they hit that incredible 18.6 crore milestone, having completely transformed into a corporate entity that's driving daily sales in the lakhs. Their physical layout perfectly illustrates their operational genius. The physical format is deliberately split. On the ground floor, you've got this vibrant sweet shop that is practically weaponized for impulse buys. Mithai, namkeen, quick snacks. I mean, try walking past that without grabbing a samosa, right? But then, you head to the upper floor, and you find a multi-cuisine vegetarian restaurant designed for sit-down family meals. It's brilliant. This dual format captures both the quick impulse craving and the planned family dinner, keeping all that local spending safely under one roof. Moving right along to Section 2, defining the target market. So who exactly is driving all this incredible foot traffic? If we apply the classic STP model, segmentation, targeting, and positioning, their strategy becomes crystal clear. For segmentation, they target local families in Faridabad who just have daily or festive needs. For targeting, they hone right in on value-seeking locals who prioritize hygiene, tradition, and reliable vegetarian food. And their positioning? It's fascinating. They intentionally ignore glossy premium branding. Instead, they position themselves as your familiar, trustworthy, all-in-one neighborhood destination. They know exactly who they are. Which brings us to Section 3, the local marketing mix. So, how do they actually execute this dominance on the ground? Let's do a rapid-fire breakdown of their 4 Ps, starting with product. Their core strength is offering a massive, appealing variety. We're talking traditional Indian mithai, burfi, laddus, rasgulas, paired up with a really broad multi-cuisine restaurant menu. North Indian thalis, South Indian dishes, Chinese fast food, and everything heavily emphasizes freshness and hygiene. Basically, no matter what someone in the family is craving, Milan Sweets has it covered. For a second P, price, they anchor themselves firmly as a mid-range value option. A meal typically costs somewhere around 350 to 450 rupees for 2 people in the restaurant section. By designing their prices for everyday accessibility, rather than, chasing premium high-end margins, they make it incredibly easy for locals to justify regular, repeat visits. It's a habit-forming price point. When it comes to place, they intentionally cluster their physical outlets in high-traffic residential and commercial markets across Faridabad. They want maximum local visibility, and they supplement this physical footfall with a really strong takeaway business and delivery via platforms like Zomato. Instead of a sprawling, multi-city franchise model that might stretch their resources thin, they've chosen a highly focused, dense city strategy to just completely own their specific backyard. Finally, promotion. Now, contrast their approach with massive national chains. You won't find large-scale advertising budgets or splashy celebrity endorsements here. Milan Sweets relies almost entirely on organic word of mouth, the sheer physical visibility of their brightly lit stores, and basic Google or Zomato listings. Aside from maybe a few occasional Facebook posts or local promos during the festive season, their real marketing engine is simply habit and proximity. Let's look at Section 4, Strengths and Growing Pains. Analyzing this model forces us to ask a pretty vital question. Can a purely neighborhood strategy actually scale? Can a localized, family-owned business really sustain its momentum against highly funded, modern competitors that are aggressively entering the casual dining space?
Well, let's weigh the pros and cons. On the strength side, they possess deep generational local recognition in Faridabad. Their tight family ownership gives them incredible operational control, which lets them maintain that essential neighborhood familiarity. And that dual suites and restaurant format we talked about earlier, it makes them a true one-stop powerhouse, pulling in all sorts of diverse buying intents at a highly accessible price point.
However, the challenges they face are definitely steep. The local casual dining market is fiercely competitive, and outside of Faridabad, they've virtually zero brand equity. They're also heavily reliant on local footfall and massive festive season spikes to drive revenue. On top of that, they completely lack the marketing sophistication of national giants. And, as noted in some online reviews, they do occasionally suffer from service consistency issues across their outlets. Their comfort zone is strictly within the city limits.
And that brings us to Section 5, the neighborhood strategy. Let's bring all these strategic pieces together. This case study beautifully summarizes a classic regional playbook: dense coverage, value pricing, and habit-driven loyalty. Milan Suites proves to everyday entrepreneurs that you absolutely don't need a massive national ad budget or a sprawling franchise network to be highly successful. Measured organic growth based purely on convenience and meeting everyday family needs can actually build an incredibly robust, profitable local business.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Is this kind of organic growth a trap, or is it actually the ultimate safety net? By avoiding the risky, incredibly expensive expansion pursued by national chains, Milan Suites has built a self-sustaining, highly profitable ecosystem right in their own backyard. I hope this framework helps you analyze and appreciate the successful local giants in your own neighborhood. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Keep observing the strategies around you and never stop learning.